Good morning and welcome to our local press review, and today I'm accompanied by political and economic analyst Mr. Ahmed Khattab to comment on the news. Good morning, Mr.
Good morning
Ahmed.
to all of you.
And we start off with Al Masri Al-Yawm newspaper, from which we read that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said during China-Africa Cooperation Forum Summit Tuesday that Egypt's efforts during its current chairmanship of the Group of 77 and China are proof of the determination to develop cooperation among developing countries. Sisi added that in the coming years, Egypt will continue to develop cooperation platforms to serve the interests of African and developing countries. Actually, this forum, the FCAC, was quite important for Egypt, where not just the forum itself, the the Chinese-African cooperation, but also on the sidelines of it and before it, Egypt signed a lot of important memorandums of understanding. The president conducted a lot of meetings also with, of course, other African presidents. So how do you see this important trip of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi?
First of all, our President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, during the China-Africa Cooperation Forum Summit, do a very good achievement related to our Egyptian economy and also to strong Egyptian as a key country in Africa and the key country in the Middle East. Egypt sent a surprise to China and Africa and to the world, Suez Canal logistics area and economic zone. Our President Fattah al-Sisi sent a message to China and all Africa countries. Egypt will work starting from the next year for developing country in Africa in order to support to be more dynamic country in the Africa and in the Middle East. Our President Fattah al-Sisi approved a lot of agreement and memorandums between Egypt and Africa country and China country by total more than 20 billion US dollars. So it's a huge amount of investment will come to Egypt. So it's very effective also as a politically. Egypt strong is a tie and the relation between China and all Africa country. Egypt will be the leader of 2019 as Africa Union. So Egypt will support development country and Africa country in many different fields, in economically, politically, in the field of fighting terrorism, and in the field of education, in the field of agriculture between Egypt and all African country. Also, President of China sent a thanks message to our President Fattah al-Sisi for coming and participate in this summit, because Egypt add value in this event, add value in the field of logistics, add value in the field of economics, add value in the field of political and strong as a tie and supporting the stability in all regions. I'm here to send a message. Egypt will be a center for trade between Asia and Africa. Egypt ready 100% after we spend a lot of billion US dollars in infrastructure, in Suez Canal, in logistics area in Suez Canal, in logistics area in Sokhna, in logistics area in Alex. Egypt ready to be a center for trade between Asia and Africa, and Egypt will be the main gate for Africa and will support the trade in the world during the coming years.
And of course, our president is in Uzbekistan, and we read about that from Al Ahram newspaper, from which we read that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi arrived in Uzbekistan on Tuesday from China in the first official visit by an Egyptian president to the Central Asian country. Sisi is expected to hold talks with his counterpart and a number of Uzbek officials in the capital, Tashkent, with the aim of boosting bilateral relations. The importance of the president's visit to Uzbekistan.
Our President Fattah al-Sisi start visit in China and ended by Uzbekistan and Bahrain, China, and ended in Uzbekistan. Our President Fattah al-Sisi, it's a second visit from Egypt to Uzbekistan. The first one done by President Abdel Nasser, and this is the second. The Egyptian Uzbekistan relationship and tie is very strong, and we in Egypt we have Ibn Tulun Mosque. This is with cooperation with Uzbekistan, and we have Uzbekia Garden, and also Uzbekistan helped us in the perimeter of Nile River perimeters in the past. And today we try to renew and strengthen the tie between Egypt and Uzbekistan. And Egypt celebrate 25 years cooperation with Uzbekistan, and a lot of memorandum and agreement related to economic will approved by our President Fattah al-Sisi and the President of Uzbekistan. So it's a wonderful also visit to Asia country, especially Uzbekistan, because it's a growing country, and we will have many different cooperation in the field of education between Uzbekistan and other university and the Cairo University. Also, if we go back to the old year, Ms. Biro as a building support Uzbekistan in the training, and also Leader Center and Agriculture Center. A lot of Egyptian center support Uzbekistan in training in many different fields, in field of agriculture, field of policeman, also in field of media. So Uzbekistan and Egypt have a wonderful relationship, and we hope to increase the tie and the cooperation by commercial trade between Egypt and Uzbekistan. Especially, we focus in cooperation with Asia as a country.
Yes, definitely. We have strong ties since we recognized its independence in 1991 after the fall of the Soviet Union, currently Russia. And talking about the reform of the religious discourse, we read from Egypt today that Parliament's Religious and Endowments Affairs Committee will hold a meeting in the beginning of the fourth round, scheduled for October, with religious institutions and relevant ministries to follow up the measures taken to renew the religious discourse. Al-Abd, the head of the Religious and Endowments Affairs Committee in the Parliament, said that the committee aims to combat terrorism and renew the religious discourse. Hence, the committee will hold a meeting with religious institutions and relevant educational institutions to be acquainted with the measures and mechanisms taken by the entities in this regard. Now, how do you see the measures taken by the committee so far, and what do we really need?
First of all, Egyptian Parliament do a very good achievement in many different fields. So let me send a special thanks to our President of Parliament, Dr. Abdel, and also today Parliament and Religious Committee, Osama Al-Abd, do a very good achievement in order to renew the negotiation, especially related to our religious, with other universities and with also Cairo and Ain Shams University and all social institutions. We are in Egypt need to send the message of peace of Islam and right Islam, not only to Egyptians, to the Arab and to the world. So Osama Al-Abd as a member do a very good achievement in this file, and we try to support peace of Islam and send the message of peace to all community with cooperation as experts from our other university and also the professors from Cairo and Ain Shams University and all university. So it will be very important to us, and also a lot of ministers will participate in this issue in order to be more helpful to our youth to understand the right Islam.
And one of the things, the initiatives they are having is to clean the educational curriculum from materials that spread extremist thoughts. So how do you see that?
This is a wonderful point, because all education material should be selected by a way, send a message of peace, by a way, send a message of one unity between Muslim and Christian and all other, by peace to be open-minded enough, open-mind to the world, open-mind to the community. So this is a wonderful meeting, and thanks to Egyptian Parliament for this achievement.
And concerning fighting extremism, we move to news about Sinai 2018 comprehensive operation, and that's from Al-Akhbar newspaper, from which we read that Minister of Defense Mohammed Zaki on Tuesday followed up the stages of Sinai 2018 comprehensive operation for fighting terrorism. The General Commander of the Armed Forces followed up the stages from the operations room in the East Canal Command. Now, how do you see the details, and what's the updates on the latest news?
Our military force and policemen do a very good achievement in the fight of fighting terrorism, locally and internationally, and all world know this message 100%. And our President Fattah al-Sisi also, and all formal meeting and all formal summit. Egypt fighting terrorism. Egypt work against any kind of terrorism or extremism. Egypt work by very strong and fighting all organized crime before it takes place. So let me present today special thanks to General Mohammed Zaki, Minister of Defense, because he do a very good achievement and he make a daily follow-up with command in Sinai operation and the East Canal, and he tried to make the region stable 100%. In the same time, our government start new reclamation and the plantation of land and starting new operation and building housing and building many new industry in order to be secure 100%. I am here to send a message. Our military force and policemen able to stop any kind of tourism before it take place, and Egypt secure 100%, and Egypt hope market for more investment in the future.
Well, we will be moving now to a live transmission where we will be looking into President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's visit to Uzbekistan, and actually this is an important visit as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi started his important visit on Tuesday. The visit crowns fruitful joint cooperation that lasted for around 20 years. The first Egyptian embassy was opened in Tashkent in 1993. Egypt was the first Arab country to recognize the independence of Uzbekistan after the fall of the former Soviet Union in 1991. Uzbekistan has a remarkable economic reform experience that was initiated by the late President Islam Karimov. Karimov paid 2 visits to Egypt in 1992 and 2007, during which several cooperation agreements were signed between the two countries in the air transport, economic and investment sectors, along with trade exchange. The visit of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to Uzbekistan added to the relation between the two countries. The relation has been so strong since its establishment 25 years ago. The cultural relations indicating that since 1993 the Egyptian Center for Education and Science is operating in Tashkent. Also, Egypt is offering scholarships to Uzbek students for studying Arabic in Egyptian universities. Egypt participated in several artistic and cultural events in Uzbekistan, while Tashkent is taking part in similar events in Egypt. The president's visit is important as it is his visit following visiting Bahrain and China, where in China he signed several memorandums of understandings, including that of the electric train, in addition to a variety of cooperation agreements, including the financing of Egypt's satellite, as well as many important investment projects. The president also visited the Communist Academy, and it was important visit because in it the president addressed the students and he spoke about the Suez Canal industrial zone. In addition to that, the president on the sidelines met with several of his African counterparts, including that of the president of Sudan, the president of South Sudan, and the president of Somali. The president is expected to meet with top Uzbekistani officials, where both sides will hold talks to boost relations between the two countries. And we can see the arrival and meeting of His Excellency the President and being greeted by the Uzbekistani officials on screen. The President also and his Uzbek counterpart are the signing of a number of agreements and memorandum of understandings over strengthening joint cooperation between both sides in a number of industries. Uzbekistan is the third leg of the foreign visit of President Sisi since the weekend.
وللمزيد حول زيارة الرئيس عبد
Welcome back, and we had a live transmission of the arrival of the president and being greeted by the high officials of Uzbekistan, and we're continuing our talk and our press review. But first of all, how do you see this particular important meeting of the president and his visit to Uzbekistan?
This is a very important visit between Egypt and Uzbekistan because, as we said before, the historical relation between Egypt and Uzbekistan is vital to both countries. Uzbekistan and have a similar situation in Egypt and also similar cooperation. If we go back to historical relations, starting from mosque building together, mosque of Bint Tulun, this is reflects the historical relation starting from 25 years. Once Egypt opened first embassy in Uzbekistan, and after 2 years, Uzbekistan also started launching Uzbekistan embassy in Egypt. This is reflected the historical relation in all files, in the file of education, the file of Islamic relation, also because 85% of Uzbekistan is a Muslim. So there is a very historical relation also between the Azhar University and Uzbekistan in the field of training and education. Our President Fattah al-Sisi will approve a lot of agreement and memorandum related to commercial trade between the two countries in order to strengthen the tie and bilateral relation between Egypt and Uzbekistan. So it's wonderful cooperation, and also Uzbekistan ambassador send a message to all businessmen from Egypt and businessmen from Uzbekistan. We will have a lot of mega projects will be started operation after this visit. And a lot of memorandum will be approved and agreed in this visit. And Egypt will be the center for trade, especially we have economic zone, and the Suez Canal will support the trade between Asia and Africa. And Egypt will be the main gate for this export. And Egypt will support all development countries in Asia and Africa in the coming year also.
Yes, before we wrap up today's press review, I'd like to read a piece of news from Al-Wafd newspaper, where Egyptian security forces detained on Tuesday a 24-year man after he was seen carrying a burning backpack in which a plastic bottle filled with inflammable materials near Simon Bolivar Square in downtown Cairo. The incident has led to no injuries or damages, including the young man. Initial investigation have revealed that he believes in extremist ideology, according to a statement by the Ministry of Interior. The public prosecution has taken the necessary legal measures. Well, I'd like to thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed. Thank you for commenting on our local press review. And that brings us to the end of this edition of the press review. But stay tuned for more coming up on Nile TV International.